Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item B, motion to confirm the appointment of L. Rod Freeman to serve as Corporation Counsel for the City of Waukegan. Take a motion by Alderman Vera, second by Alderman Seager. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Kirkwood.
I have a question in terms of the amount that we're going to be billed. I see that in the attachments, $7,000 for the retainer.
Is your mic on?
I see that the retainer is $37,000, but my question is, after we reach that amount, I see that the different billing rates here for government discount ranges, depending on the partners and non-partners, range from $375 to approximately $200. And is there a cap on this? I know we're trying to reduce the legal fees for the city, and we've done some things in terms of reducing the amount of lawyers that we have. So I'd like to be able to get from our current corporation counsel the total amount that we've been billed, and also with the additional individual that has been doing our FOIAs to make sure that we're not going to be counsel. That's my question. Before we go further, I'd like to be able to get that and not to just hold over. I need to get those questions answered.
Did you have a question, Alderman Moiseo?
Yes, thank you. The monthly retainer, there's a breakdown. It tells you what it includes, matters covered by the monthly retainer. That seems to be pretty routine. But then there's also a section, matters not covered by the retainer, so that means they'd be billed by their hours. There's bond issue. I thought we had a bond counsel. Special financing projects, attending meetings of subsidiary boards, library board, planning and zoning commission, special use permits. So there's some things that are not covered by the retainer, if I'm reading this correctly. Intergovernmental agreements, real estate matters, work specified related to the special projects assigned by the mayor or the council. There's a lot of blank checks in there. So is this, I mean, their contract basically is $37,000 a month. That's $445. That's about what we paid Long and Pincel as our corporation counsel. But there's a lot of open-ended non-retainer things on here, and my experience tells me, and that's just how lawyers work, sometimes they leave things open-ended. This is a regarded law firm. I know that. They're very highly regarded. They do a lot of work with municipal law, but there's a lot of blank availability for blank checks in there. So I can see the concern that Alderman Kirkwood has.
It is my understanding that we will be using Mr. Stuart Weiss. Now, I'm not sure if you can answer those questions. You can come up. And when other issues come up, will we be using a different attorney for those at a different price or what?
I'm happy to. So I can answer some of those questions. Mm-hmm. So the retainer amounts that we have include standard tasks that we perform for almost all of our municipal clients. Non-retainer matters would be billed at the hourly rates that are shown there. Now, whenever we open up a non-retainer matter, we don't do that without authorization. So in this case, we would have to receive authorization from the mayor or her designee before we open up a non-retainer matter. When we open up a non-retainer matter, we have to discuss who would be staffing it. And there would be cases where, for instance, if bond counsel would be more appropriate to use existing bond counsel, then we would work with the existing counsel that they may have used, the city may have used. So So at all points, there's a check on, there's never a blank check for us. And whenever we staff someone, we try to staff someone. Thank you. Once again, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Stu Weiss from the firm Elrod and Friedman. And I would be the principal contact with the city. My rates are in the engagement letter. But we also have more junior attorneys who would be taking on more routine matters and at lower rates. And we would always strive to give the best value to the city of Waukegan possible.
Mr. Weissman, is there any legal matters that your firm would not, I mean, I've been here for a while, and we always are getting outside counsel when we have certain instances that come up. Would you guys handle all of our legal matters then, either retainer or non-retainer, or would there be some instant we'd have to go out and get, a different law firm that specializes in, First Amendment violations or, or something?
That we do.
Your municipality, you're going to be that should be something, right?
Yeah,
but,
right now, I do know that you have outside labor counsel.
Correct.
And so one of the discussions will be as to whether they will continue to represent the city. We do have attorneys in our firm who do that work, but that's also going to be something that's going to be discussed as to whether that is going to be most appropriately handled by our firm or another one.
Okay. I mean, I know our legal fees are above $445,000 because, there's only certain things that Long did. And it's been like that, just so some of the other aldermen know, it's been like that since I've been here.
Right.
We've only had one, that was early on, we had one stop shop, and even they had to farm out some things. But since then, we've always had different labor councils, different bond councils, things of that sort. I just was curious to see, and obviously, if it's over 20,000, you got to come back
Right.
to us for approval. So those are just some questions I know Alderman Kirkwood and I had. So
Yeah, and in general, as I said, when we work on a non-retainer matter, we don't open up a non-retainer matter without authorization. And so that would basically be a new project that would be taken on. And in each one of those instances, we would be asking the question, are we the best firm to be dealing with this? Are we the most economical? And are we the most efficacious?
Can I say something?
Alderman Florian?
If I'm not mistaken, when the mayor talked to me about this, you guys are also going to be doing our FOIAs, correct?
So what we do is what we aspire to do is to train staff so that the majority of FOIAs do not require, most FOIAs in our experience across the 15 different general counsel clients that we have, most FOIAs do not require legal review. They require good training of staff so they know what to look for. And then about the 10 to 20% that are more complex are brought to us and we review them. And so that's what we're going to be working on is forms, training, and basically advising along the way to catch the difficult cases.
Because we pay about $4,000 a month for that.
yeah, like I said, that's another. The goal here is to keep our legal expenses total, about what they've been.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. Things come up and you get something dramatic happens and you're going to have to pay out. We all know that happens. That's coming down the road soon. So I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm sure you guys are aware of that situation. Would you be prepared to handle that, or would that be something we'd have to go out, or is that am I putting this cart way before the horse? Way before the horse?
Well, we are ready and willing to deal with whatever you guys have to throw at us.
Okay.
I have a question regarding the FOIAs. I know you were saying that you will train staff. Will your attorneys look over anything that goes out of the city prior to it being released?
If we are asked to. So in general, it is, like I said, in most of our clients, we train staff to ensure that when things go out, that they're making sure that they are applying the appropriate exemptions and that they are not applying inappropriate exemptions. And that they're also protecting the privacy of citizens and staff And then if any questions arise, that's when they call us usually.
So what happens if something goes out and it hasn't had the eye of the attorney? What happens then if it was inappropriate?
Well, most of the time, I mean, most public records are presumed to be public records and should be released. That's what FOIA requires. So, you know, if it's a question of, I mean, are there specific cases that you've had issues with in the past?
No, maybe something
Yeah.
maybe something went out and it,
Wasn't redacted correctly,
yeah.
and then you got an employee suing you?
Okay, so, I mean, that's the question is, you know, are we training the staff to call us when they have any questions? And that's, you know, that's the big issue. So,
But that would be part of the training. So, and there should be some sort of certification after the training to make sure that they understand what they're looking at and what they're also releasing. So again, that should be included within the training.
Is there a state certification for you? I don't think there is. Is there?
no, I mean, there's a state training for Open Meetings Act, which you
Yeah.
probably have all taken.
Yeah.
For FOIA, we have Ben Schuster as one of the leading experts in on FOIA, which
Yeah.
within our firm, and he handles for multi-jurisdictional law enforcement issues.
Right,
We also have experts in labor law who look at these issues. So yeah.
right.
Alderman Kirkwood.
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying, but in most instances, your trained staff will send out the FOIAs without the attorney looking at them unless they see something necessary for your attorneys to look at.
That's the way most municipalities that we work with operate, yes.
Okay, and then I had another question regarding under your paperwork with termination. I guess it's understood, or is it not understood? Is there a 30-day or 60-day?
We are at will. We are at will.
At will, so it doesn't have to have, so, but that's not in this agreement stating that, you know, it's, okay, if we decide, okay, we're not gonna cover you only to the remainder of this month, then that's it.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
you could fire us tomorrow. I mean,
okay.
yeah, that's how our legal engagements work, is that there is no term on it. You can let us go tomorrow. Well, actually, the mayor is the one who makes that decision, but yeah.
That's a little different.
Like I
We
said,
usually give a
this,
30-day notice or 60-day notice, but I understand.
this is a very reputable law firm. I'm just doing my due diligence.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a very, very reputable law firm.
Well, that was my only question, since I didn't see any term in there. I understand that you all cover a lot of municipalities, and, but as being an alderman for 18 years, this is the first time I've seen where there's not a 30-day or 60-day or something in play or on paper stating that this is our terms
That is not the way that we do
of
business.
termination. Okay,
And if you are no longer satisfied with us, you let us know, and someone can be there at the next meeting, someone different.
okay.
These guys are a little more confident, Alderman Newsom.
Huh?
A little bit more confident,
I
which is
mean,
good.
I
Which is good.
You know, I mean, I think we also realize that this is, you know, we need to be responsive to the community and to the needs of the city, and if we're not, then it is your decision, it's your job as decision makers to make that change.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. Weissman.
Roll call?
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Seager.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Chairman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Items, there's no item C. Item 3, reports and communications. I'm going to turn that over to Ms. Noel. you can go over.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As usual, you have a series of reports in your packet, beginning with the water consumption summary that's down about 57,000 from last month. For the business license report, there are 5 new approved licenses, 2 denied, 14 pending that are in process, and 4 that have been submitted but are not yet in the approval process. You have a rental license application report. Stop me if anybody has any questions along the way here. Your stabilization fund report is $630 up from last month. Your special events report is in the packet. Video gaming is up over last month.
I think we are almost back up where we were pre-shutdown, so
Yes,
gaming is back up.
gaming is back up.
They're open.
I'm sorry?
Things are open.
Yes. Your food and beverage collection report is there, food and beverage tax.
You said to stop you if we have a question along the
Sure,
way.
as long as that's okay with Madam Chairman, that's fine with me.
You have a question?
Yes.
Alderman Florian?
I do. I was looking at the food and beverage and hotel tax collection report, and we still have several restaurants that have paid zero for certain months and going back a year now, maybe longer. Not all months, but some months. And I know we were in the middle of an audit when COVID hit, so I don't know what the status of that is, but maybe you can update us. Do you know about
I
that?
don't know the status of that. As you know, we're currently without a finance director, so I'm filling in for the committee, but I can try to find out that
Okay,
answer
I
for you.
didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay.
Prior to our next finance meeting, I'll check with staff and see if we can find out what's going on with that.
Okay, and
and
one
the
of-
auditors.
One of the other questions I had is, and I don't know how this works, I'm not an accountant, but isn't some of the tax that's collected by these these restaurants and stuff, doesn't that go to the state also?
If
Some
I'm,
of their taxes do.
yeah,
So is there a way for us to see, is it, like if they're not paying us, are they not paying the state also?
I think that's how the auditors were finding out we weren't getting our portion. So they were going after those funds for us. So like when COVID hit, it's like they were not able
It
to.
was bad timing.
So I think, what did we have, a 2-year contract with them or?
I don't
or was
remember
it-
what it was, but we had talked about delaying it, holding it because of COVID. We weren't going to cancel it. That was too much money to eat.
Right.
We talked about putting it on hold until we got things back up to snuff, and that the company was amenable to that. I don't know if it ever happened. There was a different cycle. It was like this group and then this group, and about when they were going to get audited.
Right.
And things of that sort. So I don't know where that stands. I mean, that's a question for staff. I don't think anybody up here has any idea.
Right.
Well, where I was going though with that is, I'm wondering if the state is also missing out on money, if there's any chance they would help us with this process of trying to get people to comply, since they're missing out on money too.
So when the taxes are collected, they're all collected and remitted to the state of Illinois, and then the state returns to us our share. So we get 1% of the state sales tax, which is 6.25%, plus we get our home rule, our food and beverage, our occupancy, depending on which taxing entity it is. So if we're getting zero, they presumably are also getting zero, because we would still get that 1% of the state share even if we didn't get anything else, but they would calculate it across all the tax categories.
The state ain't gonna, I would find it highly unlikely the state's not collecting sales tax. They'll shut you down pretty quick, especially if it's liquor. They'll shut you down like tomorrow if you're not paying that.
But from what she just said, then we should be getting it.
Well, maybe then, that's a question we'll have to ask for the state, or
If-
wait till we get a finance director.
Right.
If the vendor is collecting it and remitting it to the state, then we would be getting our share. Now, whether they're open and collecting it is a question.
That's true, too.
Whether they're collecting it even if they're open is a question, though you would think that most of them wouldn't risk their licensing for that. So it could be that they're shut down, not operating as usual. Another challenge that we have with sales taxes is that there's only one person who can see the confidential reports from the state, and that is the finance director. So having no finance director, now we have nobody designated as the person to be able to see that information.
So we don't have an official assistant finance director or
We
someone
don't have
who-
an official assistant finance director. My understanding is that there's nobody that's currently designated. I could be mistaken, but I don't
But I
believe.
still think it'd have to be the finance, I don't even think an assistant could look at it.
Yeah. I think getting
So
through.
we need a
the-
finance director
Yeah, we're
yesterday.
going through the process of finding one now,
That position is posted, so.
yes.
Well, we could always FOIA the information. No?
From the state,
No,
It's not public information.
it's not public, that's not
Because-
public
Because it's
information.
related to their tax returns.
So the sales tax that they're generating is a direct reflection of the sales that they're making, which is a direct
You
reflection
could
of
figure
their
out how much
income
they
and
sell.
profits. So it's all protected, and that's why it's confidential, and only that finance director, who's the designated and signed off person with the state, is eligible to receive that information.
okay. let's move on.
And then we have, I think I said video gaming, didn't I? Yes. 'cause,
Hotel,
Madam Chairman pointed out that it was up. We have the, I have to look at and give you the proper name of this report.
Push
The
tax?
quarterly travel and entertainment reimbursement report.
we skipped the push tax, which
Yeah.
we're not
Did I
getting.
skip that one?
Which we're
Mine
not
must
getting.
be out of
anything.
order.
That's still in litigation.
Yes.
I admit to having dropped my paperwork earlier, and I tried to put it back in the right order, but thank you. Thank you.
There's a question from Alderman Kirkwood.
So in regards to the push tax, I know there's some litigation regarding that, but are we collecting?
No.
We're not, nobody's remitting because
No.
of the litigation.
No, and just as an aside, I talked to Alderman in Oak Lawn, who was also involved in the same thing, and they're not, it's the same thing. All these guys are holding back until the legal matters get
So
flushed out.
once that's flushed out, I mean, will they have to pay back all
Yes.
those amounts?
Yes,
And they understand that?
yeah. Not the business owners, the gaming operator.
Right, the gaming operator.
Yeah, they know.
That's why they're pushing
That's-
against
yeah.
it so much.
Yeah, but I mean, there's gonna be a larger amount that is due back to us if they lose this, so I'm
That's
wondering
true.
why they wouldn't pay us and we don't spend it
I
until
can,
this thing is taken care of.
I think they probably rather not have to get it back from us than
right.
to
Yeah, they're not gonna try to get it back.
remit
They
it
give it
to
up.
us, and then,
Yeah, up
Yeah,
front.
they're not gonna, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that's why they're fighting it.
No, to be clear, do we have our own attorneys working on that? Or
No,
are
that's
we-
the same attorneys that
That's handling all the
handling all the
lawsuits.
municipalities involved in it.
Okay, then the quarterly,
And we have the quarterly grant status report. You had an updated report at your seat tonight, I hope. I have some extra copies if you didn't. The reason for that is there was a typo that I caught, in particular on one of the grants that's under my jurisdiction, and that is that it called for, this is the one on page 3. The second box down, it's the blue line, it's the CMAP Technical Assistance Grant. A shift key was missed, so it said the match was $450,000 instead of $50,000 with a dollar sign. The match is expected to be $50,000, not $450,000. So you'll see that difference between the report that was handed to you tonight and the one that was in your packet prior. Sean, did you have additional information for us on the auditor's work?
Oh, yes. So the auditors look at the ST1s, the ST1s that are submitted to the state, and compare them with our food and beverage, the food and beverage taxes that we've gotten. In regards to the taxes that are remitted to the city of Waukegan, 1% for food and beverage is directly sent
Thank you, Sean. Okay, item 4, before we adjourn, are there any more questions? Take a motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Seeger to adjourn at 5:45. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We adjourned at 5:45.